Good morning. We're live. Happy Sunday, everybody. How's everybody doing today? We have look at this. My phone is hijacking the show. YouTube's hijacking the show even when I don't have YouTube turned on. These guys are always trying to push ads our way. Let me shut that off. Sorry about that, guys. I thought I had it off. There we go. I think their algorithms are finding new ways to pitch commercials at us. Anyways, happy Sunday, everybody. Thank you guys all for being here. Give me a thumbs up if the sound level is okay, if it's not too hot. I don't have my headphones on today, so I can't really tell if it's hot or not. But if you can hear me okay, please give me a thumbs up. Look at it's doing it again. Happy Sunday. Hold on. Sorry, guys. You see, I always I try to check the feed on my phone when I go live because there's always a little bit of a delay. So I don't know how quickly the video will pick up on YouTube. So I like to check and make sure that it's working properly and everything's fine. All right, good morning, everybody. So this is show number 90, guys. 90. We're making it. Slowly and surely we're making our way down to 100. I can't wait to get to the 100th show. We're gonna have to definitely do something a little different for the 100th show. I don't know what it's gonna be yet, but I hope to have something cool for you guys. So stay tuned for that. We're up to like 22,000 subscribers, and I want to thank each and every one of you guys for subscribing to the channel. You're really making it a lot of fun, and these Sunday shows are the best. Like I totally enjoy these Sunday shows even more than my reviews for some reason, because I have, you know, people that are feeding back and giving me good advice and good topics to talk about. We never run out of things to talk about here. So I really do appreciate all of that, guys, and I thank you all for being part of it. Today, the time change happened, right? So I don't know if you guys are aware. In some parts of the world, maybe this is not a thing, but in Canada, we're still, you know, putting our clocks back, which gives us a little bit more time. But it also gets really dark when we come home from work. So we're coming home basically in the pitch dark. So that's that kind of sucks, but we do get a little bit more time in the morning. So if that works out for you guys, fantastic. I hope that it does. Maybe for others, it might actually throw your schedule off a little bit, and maybe it won't be as convenient for you guys to catch the show. But I hope you guys tune in anyways. So what are we all about? What are we all about here on Addicted to Gear for the newcomers? Well, basically, it's all about this stuff, right? The stuff you see around me here, the addiction to gear, guitars, and all of that great stuff. And basically, we share our, you know, our wins, our losses, our anxieties, our, you know, acquisition syndrome that is sort of taking hold of our lives and forcing us to kind of be strong in, you know, in the light of a new guitar, a new product that's coming out. You know, we try and help each other out. And I think the biggest aspect of this channel is to kind of give feedback and to also allow us to review products so that we know which ones we should be spending money on, and we know which ones to avoid, because we know we are going to spend money one way or another, right? So it's a question of trying to make the right decision and help each other make that decision. So let me say good morning to everyone already in the house. I see that there's a lot of people here already. So Fat Philosopher is the first to like. Thank you for that, Fat Philosopher. Randy's here as well. And Randy says he needs some help. Did your time roll back? Yeah, so it did roll back. So Randy now is 10. Well, a little bit past 10. So if you're lost, you can set your clocks again. Wayne McConnell, sorry, is here again, and he's here for the gear, and he says, "What a chore." Happy to have you here. Cushman, good morning. Larry, good morning. I gotta stop searching for Telecasters. Show's about to start. Well, Larry, we're on the same wavelength. I got my Telecaster out here today, so we'll talk about this guitar a little bit more in a few minutes as well. Vox says, I just swapped my Telecaster to the rotation. Every time I pick it up, I wonder why I play anything else. I agree with you guys. Guys, I'm giving you one of those hearts for Telecasters because I'm a Telecaster guy too, man. I love Les Paul style guitars, but the Telecasters for me are the workhorses of the guitar world. And if you guys, I know there's some of you that just don't like Telecasters for whatever reason, but I'm telling you guys, once you understand Telecasters, it makes your life a whole lot easier. Larry said he had to Google did Tony change his time back. Sorry about that. Sorry about the confusion, Larry. But yeah, it's a common thing here to change our time back. Jack is here. Paul is here. Alan, Bruce, Keith. Let's see who else. Any newcomers today? I wonder. Just going through the list here, I see a lot of familiar faces. Christian is here as well. Vanai, good morning as well. Paul is here. Good morning. A lot of familiar faces. I'm happy to see you guys all here and in good shape. Rico, good morning. More guitars. That's a new name I haven't seen before, so welcome if you're a newcomer or if I've missed you on any of the previous shows. Welcome back. Seth is here this morning. Charlie's here as well. Mark EFX, good morning. Dan of New Jersey, good morning. All right, there's a lot of people here, so I'm not going to scroll down saying good morning the whole show, but I'm going to scroll down to the last chat questions here so that I can keep up with you guys. Rico says, who doesn't like Telecasters? Well, I'm sure there's a few. I've come across a few that don't appreciate the Telecaster yet. Rico, I say yet because eventually everybody comes around. Fat Philosopher says, oh, don't talk about Telecaster. Fender just delayed mine another 6 months. Yeah, I remember seeing that, Fat Philosopher. That sucks, man. When you place an order, you want to get it relatively quickly, and to wait. I don't know how long you've been waiting, but I think it's in the double digits now, so that really sucks. I just hope that when you do get it, you're totally happy with it, because nothing worse than waiting such a long time and then getting something that you don't like. But I'm sure it'll be great. Let us know when it arrives. I'll be curious to see your thoughts on that. Dan says, I never imagined when I started with electrics that I'd like a Telecaster. Now my number one. Dan, same thing here, man. I used to not really like Telecasters. I always figured they were country guitars. I didn't like the shape of the headstock, this thing, compared to the Strat style one. I'm like, it looks like they just chopped it up, I was used to the Strat style and always associated Telecasters with country. Little did I know at the time that they're just amazing guitars, and they fit in so nicely in the mix, and they work in all kinds of different scenarios. But anyways, I don't want to turn this into a Telecaster show, but needless to say, I'm a big Telecaster fan. Seth says, I rarely gas, but I've definitely been eyeing the Harley Benton headless. It looks like quite a bit of guitar for the money. Stainless steel frets, ebony board, etc. When I travel, I want a headless. Yeah, I've seen those guitars. A lot of them are great for traveling because they are smaller guitars. If ever you want to try a pretty decent headless guitar for not a lot of money, well made, that comes with a case too, check out Bootlegger as well, Seth. I did a review on their headless guitar, and I have one here, and it's great for travel. It's solidly made. There's no issues with it whatsoever. And Chuck at Bootlegger will set you up. Tell him that I sent you, and maybe he'll even cut you a deal. He's a great guy to deal with, and his guitars are well made. I like mine, and it's great for traveling. Exactly that. You know, that's exactly the reason I got that one. Cool Tune says, oh yeah, went to Guitar Center in Clearwater to grab a second beater acoustic guitar. Got a Guild D240E, 350 US. Incredible value, solid Sticka, I can't even pronounce it properly. Sticka spruce and mahogany, loud, crisp, and clear. Congratulations, Cool Tunes. That's a really nice guitar, man. You need a good guitar. You need a good acoustic guitar, and a couple of acoustic guitars would hit the mark. You know, I don't play mine as often as I should, but I should get back into playing acoustic once in a while. I'm just so tempted with all these ladies behind me here that I rarely grab the acoustic, but I when I do, I always love it. I have a Martin acoustic. So Quicksilver says, I bought an AM Pro 2 from Toman a couple of months back. They installed locking tuners and set it up for free. So did you like it? I mean, how did you finally feel about it now that the honeymoon period is over? You said that you've already had it for a few months. Just wondering if it's still in the herd, or you know, if it's become your number one, or if it's somewhere down on the totem pole. Wow, okay, I got somebody here with a really hard to pronounce name. Palidico Vermi Ganguran. I can't even pronounce it, but let's just stick it to PV. Good morning. Wow, that's a mouthful for the early morning for me anyways. Let's see here. I'm just looking through. Paulo says, in your opinion, best combo with built-in attenuator? Oh, that's an excellent question. There's so many these days. It depends on your price range, however. I'm going to say, when you use the word best, please take that with a great big grain of salt, because what's best for me won't necessarily be best for you. So there's a lot of great sounding amps out there. And if I think about a combo, I'm going to say, you know, best in under $1,000. How's that? Because I don't know, you know, best could be very expensive, you know. Under $1,000, a good combo amplifier that does everything pretty well. For me, I'm going to say I like my Blackstar JJN. I like it because it can do the Marshall thing respectably well. It can do the clean thing with the clean channel decent, pretty well as well, and it takes pedals really nicely. It's not extremely loud, but it does have a switch that brings it down to 5 watts. It's got an XLR out. It's got the ability to plug the amplifier right into your computer for recording purposes. It's got the effects loops in the back. You know, it's full featured. It's got everything that you would want, in my opinion. It's great for home. It's very loud. You can play with a band, no issues. And I believe it's still under $1,000 unless they've raised the price. So I'm going to say check that one out. Cushman says, I'm going to order a set of Seth Lover pickups for my Les Paul. Not happy with the stock 2015 pups. A lot of people love those Seth Lover pickups. They're expensive, however. But have you heard them already, Cushman, or you're just taking a shot in the dark based on reviews? Hey, Charles, nice to see you, buddy. Still waiting for Slippery Pete's purple Telecaster. What do you mean you're waiting? I've shown that one before. Are you you haven't seen it, Quicksilver? Here, let me switch it up for you. Okay, then. So before I put this one down, this is my build. This is the one that I put together, painted. I was playing this one because it's become As far as butterscotch Telecasters go, it's become my number one. I have a 52 reissue and I prefer this one over the 52 reissue. It just plays so much nicer. The neck feels great. And I'm constantly tweaking this thing. Even though it looks like it's 100% done, I'm tweaking it. The paint job turned out really, really nice. Thin skin on this one. Hoping that it will age very nicely. I'm sure it will. The last little mod I did was I changed the length of the screws. The ones I had on there were just slightly too short and didn't have enough play. These ones now are perfect. And the next thing I need to do is just change some of the springs. The ones I have on these are a little bit too loose. They don't... if you can see that, they're just a little bit loose. I like the strings to be a little bit stronger so it pushes on the bridge saddles a little bit more. They're hard to find though. They're hard to find. The proper length springs for these, not easy. I have to search on eBay or something like that to come up with a proper set. But I'm so happy I went with the individual saddles on this, like Keith. He's onto something. It definitely... makes it a lot easier to intonate, and it doesn't rub your palm or anything like that because the sides on the bridge plate are not there. The bridge plate is super thick. It's like, I'm gonna say not a quarter of an inch, but you know, it's pretty thick, man, and that's what I want. And anyways, got it to where I want it to be. Changed the knob for the round ones. I hate the top hat ones, so I put one of the round ones on there, and it's good to go, man. It's a rocker. I played this one now a few times live, and it's a keeper. So I'm super happy the way it came out. Like I said, it's gonna age. Definitely gonna age as I play it, but that's gonna make it even more beautiful. Let me show you the purple one, because I guess Quicksilver didn't see the purple one for some reason. Let me just pull this right here. Let me just switch them up here. I could have sworn everybody saw this one already. And I could have sworn I did a review on it too, I think. Anyways, here it is. This is the purple one that I put together as well. This is my version of Slippery Pete's purple Telecaster. Came out really nice. Looks really good in my opinion. Paint job was a big challenge, but it came out really nice. This one definitely has a different feel over the other one, but it plays really nicely. It sounds really nice. This one also will age. I didn't want to relic it myself. I figured it's going to get reliced on its own. This is 100-year-old pine under here. This one is a lot lighter than the other one. That one's like very, very heavy. It's a bludgeon, but it has great tone. This one is light. Also has great tone. In this one, I think I put the Gun Street wiring harness here, which is not a three-way, it's a four-way switch. And it also has the push-pull to do some fancy stuff with the pickups as well. You can play these together and split them and whatever. Anyways, a great sound, great looking and great sounding guitar. Another great Telecaster in my opinion, so I'm happy the way these are turning out. Let me just jump back. Alan says, give me a Strat-shaped guitar. Leo Fender got it right the second time. Strat guitars are great too. I love Strats as well. They're definitely more comfortable than a Telecaster, but the Telecasters just have a little bit of, I don't know what, there's some magic in the Telecaster. Quicksilver says, I just canceled my order back in January. No guitar is worth that amount of weight, especially for a Squire. I wonder if it's just like all the hype that was happening with the purple Telecaster. You know, they pumped that one up quite a bit, so maybe they got a lot more orders than they expected. Everybody wanted purple for a while there. Cushman says, found pickups I like. The Seth lovers, Seymour Duncan, really like them. Yeah, though I don't think you could go wrong with the Seth Lover. Say that 5 times fast, guys. Seth Lover, Seth Lover, Seth Lover. I don't think you could go wrong with the Seth Lover pickups. Palidico says he plays acoustic guitar every morning as practice. It's a good way of getting the fingers warmed up for sure, especially with those chords. Quicksilver says he originally ordered it and paid in full. They said it was supposed to come in January 30 to 2021. Then they said January 2022. That's when I canceled the order and bought the G&L Tribute instead. Also a great choice. I heard mixed reviews on the Squires. I saw some videos of people that did receive theirs, and there was good points and bad points. Hold on, guys. I think I have somebody that wants to join in on the show. Give me 1 sec. Be right back. You know I can't have a show without her, right? The official show mascot is here, so we can carry on now. And she can get back to snoring. As long as she doesn't knock over any of my guitars, she can stay. Vox says he also has a Crafter D8 acoustic guitar. It has a solid cedar top and sounds very good. Not bad at all for under $300. I've seen a lot of people buy those Crafter guitars. They've been around for a long time, and I think if you go through the different models that they have, you can definitely come across some that are maybe better than some of the other ones. It all depends on the price range that you're looking for in terms of acoustics. Good morning, Bob. How are you, man? The puppy's back. Yeah, she's here. She's definitely my what do they call that? The support animal, or sorry, man, Fat Philosopher. I'm not trying to rub it in with my purple Telecaster and all, but you know, you can always build your own, buddy. It's about time, you know, to start learning how to build your own guitars and make them really wonderful. Forget about custom shop, man. You make your own custom shop. Hey, Jamal, nice to see you, buddy. Paul says on order Wilson Effects Sparkling Blue V3, a Marshall Governor on steroids, all pedal Love Machine fuzz, a killer take on the 90s Love Tone pedals, Big Cheese, last truly original and successful fuzz. Paul always has gear coming in. Paul should start his own pedal show or something, because, you know, man, you have pedals, enough pedals to last a lifetime there. I could stretch out the strings on my Telecaster, but the springs wouldn't necessarily be stiff enough to push against the bridge saddles enough. The whole point of those little springs is just so that your screw doesn't turn while you're playing with the vibrations and knock your bridge out of intonation, right? So the harder it pushes against the bridge saddle, the more secure it will be. So Seth says, customer bought in a Squire Classic Vibe Telecaster, new in the box, to our shop. We are upgrading everything and doing a plec. $850 later, he'll have a badass Telecaster. All right. It's not a service. She's not a service dog, but you know, she keeps me company. not a service dog, Cushman. What I was talking about is, you know how you're allowed to bring your pets on planes nowadays if they're, what do they call them now? You know, people that have anxieties and stuff like that. You have a dog or a pet that you can bring with you on planes and all that kind of stuff. They allow them. I forget the term that they use for that. Hey, William, nice to see you, buddy. Fat Philosopher. So Alan says the Squire Limited Edition Classic Vibe 50s Telecaster metallic purple Anderton's website says 10 plus in stock. Interesting that they're saying that. What's my opinion on pickups and your favorite pickups? I'm looking for a good full sound of humbuckers. This Jack is asking me this question, and this is one of the hardest questions to answer because what I like is not necessarily what you like, Jack. I love a lot of different types of pickups depending on the guitar and the sound signal chain that I'm using it with. For humbuckers, for me, you can't go wrong. I've mentioned these over and over again, but you can't go wrong with, there's a host of companies making great humbuckers. I have a set of humbuckers coming now for the Frankenstrat build. I'll give you an update on that. Therapy Dog, is that it? That's it, Leo. I think you're on it. You got it. Therapy Dog. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. Anyways, the pickups that I've tried are the only ones I can really comment on. But I'm not going to give you a particular brand because there's so many great ones out there. But Pariah makes good pickups. Porter makes good pickups. I'm going to forget a few. Monty's Guitars makes good pickups as well. What else? What else have I tried? Man, I've tried so many pickups that I even forget. Some of the Tone Rider stuff are good as well. It all depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for budget pickups, if you're looking for something a little bit more boutique sounding. I've tried the Lawler stuff in a Strat. I didn't like them. You know, so there's some boutique stuff out there that other people love, but for me, it wasn't what I was after. Iron Gear, if you're looking for budget stuff, Iron Gear does the job as well. You know, it totally depends what you're looking for. Yeah, she's definitely a trained attack animal. I have a safe word. You definitely don't want to say chocolate chip cookies around her. When there's other people here, she'll go bananas and she'll just, you know, drool all over you. So I wanted to touch upon a couple of topics while you guys are also chit-chatting in the, you know, amongst yourselves there. I wanted to talk about the poll question. Last week we did Halloween special. I think you guys, some of you guys may have participated, but I think it was a little bit lighter in terms of the guests because it was at night. It was at 10 p.m. And I think a lot of people were kind of busy with Halloween or maybe Halloweened out and possibly it was too late to catch the show. So a lot of people maybe didn't show up that were regulars on the channel, but we did get a few new faces. I did put out a poll regarding whether or not you would buy a guitar that was used and previously owned by someone who died in some, you know, violent mishap or something like that. And a lot of you guys answered, I don't care what happened as long as I get a good deal on the guitar. Somebody made me laugh and said, yeah, I wouldn't mind having a couple of John Lennon's guitars. And I get that. I understand. But I figured, you know, some of you might be a little bit more sensitive to the fact that, you know, there's sort of vibes that kind of follow items around a little bit. I told a story on that particular show about something that happened to me personally. You guys can check that out if you didn't already see that show. And I had to actually edit out the beginning of that show. So if you guys check it out now, you'll see that there's a beginning portion missing where I had the mask on and I was sort of pretending to have the big voice. Believe it or not, the sound effects that I was using on the back of that got flagged by YouTube, so I had to edit that part out. Anyways, it is what it is, but the rest of the show is still available to watch, so you guys are more than welcome to check that out. I did post a new poll question this week, and the poll question was I wanted to know how many of you guys regularly play live shows. I just want to know, what kind of players you guys are, whether or not you're just, practice at home or in your bedroom or in your basement and don't really care so much about playing in a live scenario, or if you guys play out live regularly. When I say regularly, it could be, once a week, once a month, once a year, doesn't really matter, but I just wanted to know how many of you guys actually have experience playing in front of people. I wanted to talk a little bit about that because we often talk about gear, but we don't necessarily talk about playing, and I wanted to talk a little bit more about that today. So you guys, you can take the poll question when you have a moment and answer that, and we'll jump back to that question in a little bit. Let me just take a sip of water here. And also, we're already in November. Christmas is around the corner, so I wanted to start talking about, what you guys are planning in terms of Christmas gifts, maybe for yourself, from other guitar players or other musicians that you might know. Maybe your wife is asking you for a Christmas list, that maybe some ideas for you. And I'm just wondering whether or not you guys have given that any thought, because it's coming around really quick. I mean, November is going to go by in a blink of an eye, and we're going to be in December soon. I can't believe it. It's just going by too fast for me. And of course, there's the Black Friday events where people pitch all kinds of little deals. And I think I'm already starting to see some Black Friday mentions up on the internet. So it won't be long before we get inundated with a whole bunch of people vying for our Christmas dollar. Definitely wanted to know what you guys had in mind for that. And I have a couple of ideas for you guys that we'll talk about as well. Cameron says, thoughts on Kramer Beretta Special. I like them. I have two. I have a black one and I have a salmon one. The black one is definitely the one that I like visually more than the salmon one. I thought the salmon would be more red, but actually is kind of an odd color that they chose for that one. I wrapped that one in a vinyl wrap. Now it's actually, it looks more like a zebra type guitar. I have a video on that. If you guys want to check it out in my channel, you can see if you have a guitar that you don't particularly like and you want to change the look of it temporarily, you can wrap them in these guitar wraps that I got from a company, and it's listed in that video. Eventually, I might actually just either I might paint that guitar. I might actually put a Floyd on it or something. I actually have another Vega Trem that I purchased that's in black. And I'm probably, what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to put the black one on the black Kramer Beretta Special. Turn that into like a stealth model where everything's black, because that one has a rosewood fretboard. And perhaps I'll put the Vega Trem on the other one once I paint it. If I don't go with a Floyd, I might just paint that guitar and put the chrome color Vega Trem on that one. Putting Vega Trems on those guitars make them really great. The only other thing I would have to do is change the pickup on that. So that's my opinion on those. Enrico agrees with that. He says, I have one. It's great, especially at 179 bucks. You can't get anything for 179 bucks, honestly. I mean, try and buy a body for a guitar. That, a body itself unpainted, and if you do get a painted one, it's probably going to cost you more than 200 bucks. Throw in a good neck and throw in all the hardware, and you're way above that price. So for me, it's a steal. If you grab them in good condition, you grab them all day long. They're great modding platforms, and you can do a whole bunch with them. Alan says, playing live requires a strong nerve. I only played live once at school and do not wish to repeat it. I think it also depends on the crowd, Alan, right? I mean, when you're at school, school's a tough gig because people are there, they want to, they want you to mess up. They want to make fun of you. You know, some people are not there to be entertained. They just want to criticize. If you're playing at a party, people are hammered. They're there for a good time. They're there to dance. So it's a whole different vibe, you know. And I don't think if you're in a party scenario, I don't think people are really there to criticize. They just want to have fun. Most of them are not even listening to you guys play. They're just, you know, belting them down. Nobody's going to really care if the reverb is too reverby, or if the snare drum sounds funny, you know, or if the hi-hat is too crispy. They don't really care. You know, it's a whole different scenario. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. You know, maybe you guys that play clubs or bars or whatever have a different perspective, but I'd like to hear about that. Cool Tune says, I play in public parks by the lake and in public periodically, and YouTube never fortunate enough to get paid. Never fortunate enough to get paid. That's the big dilemma with playing live situations. Sometimes you do it out of the goodness of your heart, and there's pros and cons to playing live. You know, at my age, I don't really feel like I want to be dragging gear and setting up and doing the whole thing, and the practice that's involved, getting shows underway, and the stress involved. It's a lot of work, you know, and people don't realize that when they consider your pay, right? If you're getting paid for a gig, you know, they're always trying to lowball you, and they're like, it's just, you know, a couple of hours work, but they don't factor in all the time, effort, gear, practice, and that goes in before the shows. You know what I mean? So you got to keep that in mind as well, but we'll talk about that a little bit more. Cameron says, thanks for answering. I'm a young guy looking for a backup in case I have any problems with my Squier Strat, and it's a similar enough, but not so different. I get it. Well, it's definitely a different feel from a Squier. The neck is different, definitely feels different on the Kramer, but I get what you mean in terms of different enough, right? You do have a humbucker as opposed to a single coil and whatnot, different body shape. But it's fun. It's a really fun guitar. Vox plays weddings once in a while, nothing regularly. Alan says, how do you cope with being nervous? That's a great question, Alan. For those of you that are playing live, maybe you can give your opinion on that. My opinion is you almost have to live in the moment. When you're in a live scenario, you know, you could play and you could maybe make a mistake, or it could be a glitch or something that happens. People don't really care. People are there to have fun, and if you make them have fun, they don't care. You can forget a verse, and you can fuck up, and it doesn't really matter. They don't really care as long as the show's rocking. You're making them feel good. They're willing to forgive you. If you get on stage and you're really stiff and nervous, and you're going into it like you're playing classical music where it has to be perfect, and you're so uptight about it, then people will notice. And they're not going to be as easy to forgive. They're not there to watch you like this, entertain me, monkey. It's not that kind of a scenario, right? People want to be entertained. You want to get them into the crowd, into the groove, make them participate. So once you do that and you make a connection like that, I think it's, you become more at ease with each other. It's not a one-way thing, right? The crowd could also be a little bit intimidated by a band, and all of a sudden, not know how to react in a situation where it's perhaps some kind of Christmas party at work, where they're not sure whether or not they should let loose, or be more business-like, So you gotta make them understand that it's okay to have fun, and make them loosen up a little bit. Of course, you're always going to be nervous at the beginning until things get going. But once you start getting into it, playing a couple of songs, things start relaxing, and you should be fine. Jack says he plays weekly every weekend. So Jack could pipe in on this. Am I right what I'm saying here, Jack? Give me your opinion on that. Quicksilver plays every night to his cat. Take it easy, Kush man. Have a good one. Cameron says, all I've ever done is play parties and for a few people at my friend's house in his living room a few times. There you go. So there are people that play. Charlie wants to know if I ever tried the PRS MT15. I have not tried it, Charlie. I have been eyeballing that amplifier lately. It does seem like a pretty nice small metal amp. Not too expensive either. Definitely a good deal if you want to buy it used. I'm not a big fan of those metal lunchbox style amps. I've mentioned it before. I prefer a wood head cabinet, but I think the trend is to make them out of metal because it's less expensive, easier to produce. And you know, the cost of wood is going up as well. So if you want to make something good quality, it's a lot more expensive. So it's a lot cheaper to make a little box out of metal. But it sounds good for metal, in my opinion. I don't know how flexible it is with the clean. If that's not an issue for you, then I think it would make a really nice high gain amplifier. Most people can't hear mistakes unless you're completely off. Agreed. I think the key playing live is don't stop. Don't acknowledge any mistakes. If you make a mistake, do it again. Just make it look like it was part of the whole thing. If you stop or give somebody the stink eye, people will notice. Cameron says most of the time what I've seen is that people that don't play guitar are impressed by you playing power chords. So when playing live, I wouldn't worry about showing off. Agreed. Yeah, unless, you know, there's some guitar players in the crowd, and there always are, and those guys are usually the guys standing like this, watching you and looking at your pedal board to see what you're using and whatnot. So don't worry about those guys. Wayne says, Cameron, I love your last name. I have a 53 Canadian Maple Plodge. Front is a Dodge, back is a Plymouth. I've never heard that term before, Plodge. That's pretty cool, Wayne. Charles finished his Les Paul Junior project. Now he's moving on to a fabric top. I've never tried those fabric tops. I've always been intrigued by those ever since I saw Steve Vai's gem with his mom's curtain pattern. Yeah, eventually I should actually try that. I don't know how easy it would be. Larry says, best advice I ever got was act like you're having the time of your life. It works. Agreed. I agree with you. That's good advice, man. You just project what you want the crowd to feel. You know, if you want the crowd to feel nervous, then stand up there and be nervous. The crowd's going to be nervous for you. But if you're just going in there, think about, you know, being the Stones. Stones don't care if they're making mistakes. They make mistakes all the time. They sound like crap live. But they go with the flow and people love watching them, you know. So just go up there and pretend you're Keith Richards. Let me just check something out here. So getting back to the idea of Christmas and possibly what you guys have lined up for Christmas gifts. My wife always asks me what I want for Christmas. And no matter what I tell her, she always ends up getting me some clothes or something like that. So I kind of gave up on giving her advice on any kind of music gear. She doesn't want the headaches because she knows I'm super picky about that kind of stuff. And I totally understand. I think she's 100% right. But for you guys, you know, a couple of good ideas, and maybe you guys have some ideas as well. For Christmas gifts, if you're a musician, one of the things that I always felt was a good idea was a subscription to a magazine. You know, like a Guitar Player magazine or Guitar World, something that has tabs in it. You know, I always feel those are good value because it, you know, you start looking through the magazine, find a couple of little riffs in your favorite song. It encourages you to pick up and play. So that's always a good thing. Not extremely expensive either. I mean, you can pick up subscriptions nowadays, especially if they're digital. Sometimes it's as cheap as $1 per month. You know, it's not super expensive, so it makes a good stocking stuffer in my opinion. You know, guitar polish, a sort of a guitar maintenance kit is always something that is good. Everybody needs that. Everybody goes through the polish and stuff like that relatively quickly. You always need more. Not too expensive. Makes a good stocking stuffer as well. Beyond that, I mean, maybe a good quality strap. A lot of us have these cheapy straps, but you know, if you pick up a really nice, good quality leather strap, you can keep it for a long time. I think I still have the first strap that I ever bought. Imagine that. I still remember where I bought it, downtown, and it was actually, it was like a pawn shop. And they had guitars, but they also had straps, and I bought one there, and I still have it. It's actually, I was just looking at it the other day. It's actually still here. That thing must be at least, I'm gonna say 40 years old, if not more. Still hanging out, still hanging around. What else? Oh, you know what else will make a really good idea? And this is something that perhaps you guys didn't think about for yourselves. But some luthier tools, tech tools, whatever you want to call them. You know, a lot of you guys are working on your own guitars. Sometimes it's something as simple as the appropriate set of guitar screwdriver kits, you know, that fit the different sizes for when you're working on a guitar. Not very expensive, but you could go crazy. You can really go full blown into the whole thing and spend a lot of money. I mean, good quality luthier tools are expensive. A set of good quality nut files could cost you quite a bit. You know, there's some of them that are selling for over 20 bucks per file, and you have to get like 6 of them. So if you want something a little bit more expensive, you can go that route. But you can also get a lot of little inexpensive things that will make your life easier when you're doing setup. A little mat, something to hold the neck of your guitar while you're restringing your guitar. You can get one of those power drills, those little power drills that help you wind your tuners when you're restringing your guitar, clippers, you know, for cutting your strings and making them nice and neat. All little things like that. So there's a million ideas for Christmas. So I'm just wondering if you guys thought of anything specifically, you know. String gauges is always a good one. Vox mentions that. Z files. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff, man. Wayne says, watching Tom's channel sure inspires me this last year. Best thing to come out of the pandemic, as well as you, Tony. Thank you, Wayne. Yeah, Tom is a little bit beyond my, let's say, beyond my capabilities in terms of a player. He's an awesome player. He's been around forever. And he definitely has the tone. And he's super great at building tone. He has a couple of good videos where he talks about building tone and what he uses in terms of amps and effects and whatnot. He's been playing for years, and I think he's got it down pat. So definitely something to watch if you can catch Tom's channel. It's beautiful. 10-pack of strings, another great idea. Good quality guitar cable. Absolutely right, Paul. That's a definite. And also the little like inexpensive guitar pedals as well. You know, get something that you might want to, that you've been meaning to get for yourself. You haven't actually had the time. Also these little clip-on tuners, you know, these guys here. These little, this is a TC electronic one, I think it is. But you know, there's the Snarks and different ones. These are like relatively inexpensive, make pretty good stocking stuffers and always come in handy. Cohen says, I bought my own Christmas presents. I use them on credit right now. Then by the time Christmas is here, I can ask for something else. Everyone forgot I actually bought the pedals for Christmas. There you go. It's a good strategy. Rico wants to know if there's any Frankie build updates. Well, yes, there is actually, Rico. I'll fill you in. Sure. Let me put this guy down. I happen to have the guitar here. Actually, let me just... So I'm still working on it. I haven't finished yet, but it's coming along. So for those of you that have been following this build, this is the stage that it's at so far. So this is if you watch my video, Bad Cat Guitar Kit, this is where this guitar started from. It originated from a kit. I did a full review on that kit. Now that kit, you don't get anything painted on that kit. It's just the raw body. It's a Strat body, Strat style neck. I painted it all up. I've been working on it quite a bit. It's not finished, but this is where it's at so far. So I have the beautiful original Floyd Rose that Christian sent me. Thank you a million times, Christian, for sending this over. I could never have dreamt of finding an original German-made vintage Floyd, but he came through, and I really appreciate it. It fits the guitar perfectly. I had to make the holes because the original kit comes with the bridge holes screwed in for a regular style bridge, similar to what Eddie had on his. Because the original black and white Strat that he had a regular bridge on it. Then he converted it to a Floyd like this one. And that's basically the same steps I took. So I routed out the body. The original one was routed out as a Strat. Of course, Eddie did a very sloppy job of routing it out. And I mimicked that through photos and a template that I drew so that I got the shape right for the mess that he made. So I routed those out, cut up my pickguard in the same shape that he had his so that it fits the right place. Mimicked the paint job as close as I could. This was the hardest part, is getting the paint job to look correct. I learned a lot by making this kit, guys, and I'm going to make a full video on that, on what I learned making this kit. And it kind of made me better appreciate what Eddie did. This is the funny thing. It's not even, I don't have pickups or anything in here yet, but it's not, and it's probably not tuned. But listen to how lively it is, even unplugged. I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's got great tone and unplugged, you know. So the hardest part was putting in the Floyd. The Floyd made me really nervous because you have to get that in the right location. If not, your strings are not going to be centered on the neck, and that's super important. So I took my time drilling those holes, made sure it was in the right location so it would be intonated properly once everything was set up, and it worked like a charm. I have some pickups on the way. A pretty nice set of pickups from Pariah. And if you guys don't know Pariah pickups, check them out. They make some great pickups. They actually have a set that is called the Frankenstrat. And basically it's from their Pasadena series. And both the humbucker and the neck pickup come in this kit. It's about 170 bucks. The bridge pickup is one of their Pasadena black guitar pickups. They're already aged. They're already relics, so they're gonna fit the guitar nice. Once I haven't finished working on this guitar, and I have to age it. Right now, the paint job is pretty much flawless. It's still shiny, and there's no nicks in it. There's no wear in it, so it looks a little bit odd. But I'm going to be working on that. The pickups also are going to be aged, so they're going to fit nicely with the original Floyd. The neck as well has to be worn in. I went with the eye loops here because that's what Eddie had on it as the last incarnation. The hardest thing about building this guitar kit is that every reference picture I tried to find had a different look because it was constantly evolving. So it was very difficult to nail down one particular look. Even the necks, the necks changed over time. There's so many things about the guitar changed over time. Anyways, going back to the pickups. So I have a set of these really great Pariah pickups coming in, and these are called the Frankenstrat set or the Franken set. And it's basically you get a heavily aged black bridge pickup, and that is the Pasadena black, which is overwound. But I believe that one is like 14K Alnico 2. But it comes with you know, the long leg base plates, the aged nickel silver base plate, and it's same type of, you know, pickup that Eddie used that wasn't made for a Strat, so it's not F space, so that's why he tilted it like that. And aged vintage braid wire as well. And I also have the Strat style neck pickup that's going to be in there as well. I have the switch that's going to go in here, and even have the quarter. I have the quarter laid out. I haven't put it in here yet, but there's still quite a bit of work on this guitar, but already I'm super happy with it. Guys, I've been wanting a guitar like this since I was a teenager. So it's only taken me like 40 years to actually, you know, build one. And the amazing thing is that the guitar sounds really nice. The intonation on it is really good. Of course, with these Floyd type guitars, there's always a little neck shimming to do because, you know, the Floyd is a little high. And if you try to adapt a Strat style body to a Floyd, there's always going to be some adjustments that need to be made. So definitely a neck shim to get it to the right angle. Now, right now, the guitar isn't 100% set up. I just did a rough setup. The locking nut here has to be lowered. It's a little bit too high right now, so I have some filing to do there, which I'm going to be working on as well. And honestly, the action is pretty low right now, and it's going to be bang on by the time I'm done. So I can't wait to get this done and eventually show you guys how it sounds, make you guys hear it. As far as the reflectors in the back, I'm a little bit torn as to whether or not I want to put the reflectors on or not. I know that's how Eddie had his, but it makes it kind of weird to have them there. But if I'm going to do it, I figured I might as well go all out and build them the way Eddie had his. So I can't wait to get it done. And it's almost there. Once I get the pickups, I'm going to be a little bit closer. So it's going to be, I think it's going to turn out really, really great. Thanks, guys. Charles is saying it looks great. Rico says the paint job looks great. Thank you. What else? I can't wait. I'm really happy with it. A lot of people look at this guitar and they're like, what? It's like, what did you do? You know, like, how come the guitar is so, like, you know, badly put together? And I'm like, but that's the way it was. That's the way, you know, Eddie's guitar was. That's the biggest challenge for me, was getting the guitar to play properly with all of the, you know, the different things that he did to it, and getting it to look authentic without ruining the guitar. But that's half the fun in the build. Yeah, I think it looks great as is too. I don't know. We'll see how much time I want to put into it. I'm a little bit, I wasn't convinced about these guys because these are kind of like a pain. They're not that nice to look at. And at the same time, they don't fit any regular strap. So you have to get a custom strap with the little clips. You know, if you're playing live and you're jumping off the speakers, I understand why Eddie wanted this, because, you know, obviously it'll knock out the regular guitar strap holders regularly, and that's, you can tell that was the case because he has like a million holes drilled in all kinds of locations where he was constantly trying to find wood to put a new one in. But I don't know, I'll keep them for now. If I get sick of them, I might just put in the regular guitar straps holders, and we'll see how that goes. William, go check out those Bad Cat kits. I mean, just keep in mind that they're not made to build this. They're not made to build a Frankenstrat. So you do have to modify it. I had to modify, you know, I had to basically take and file things down to make them fit the Floyd and all kinds of stuff. So it's a bit of work to do, but it's definitely something that is doable. The best thing about this guitar is that I don't have to worry about it. I can bang it around And the more dings and scratches and stuff that it gets, the more authentic it looks. So it's almost like, you know, I'm not as careful now. You know, I was babying it at first as I was building and painting it, but now it's like, yeah, whatever, just throw it around. If the kids want to play with it, they can play with it too. But I have a feeling it's going to sound fantastic by the time I'm done with it. So Larry doesn't like the reflector idea, and Alan says skip the reflectors too. So yeah, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I won't put the reflectors, even though I have them. I probably won't put them in. Maybe I'll just age it and see how it goes and leave it at that. Make it my own. William says he bought a pair of Pariah Destruction 70 pickups. How do those sound? That's the thing about these guitars, Vox. I agree. You pull out something like this at a show, you better be ready to play Eddie Van Halen stuff. If you're not, keep it at home. I honestly just bought this one as a home player thing. You know, I just wanted it for such a long time. You know, it's just one of those things. And of course, I have the Kramer version. I don't know if you guys saw. Rico doesn't like the reflectors either. Like, I'm not crazy about the reflectors either, guys. But I prefer to keep it this way. But I'll show you the other one. I have the other one here. All right, so this is the Kramer version. Slightly different, as you can see. So this is the Kramer headstock. This is also from a kit with the 5150 reflectors on it and the MXR knob, and this is the Frankenstrat version. So similar but not the same, and I think you have to have both. You know, what do you guys think? Front and back, slightly different. This one has the black. This one has the black hardware on it. Originally, it didn't have black, but this is what I had, so I kept the black. This is actually a Schaller Floyd. Very good quality as well. So the only thing about these kits is you always have to be ready for surprises. And the other one, which is the Kramer kit, the holes for the bridge were in the wrong place. So right now I still have to fix it. It has to be pushed back a little bit so that I can get it to be intonated properly. Right now, it's a little bit off, unfortunately. If I would get another Kramer, an original Kramer bridge, it probably wouldn't require me drilling back the holes, because the bridges can go slightly further back. There's an extra little pinhole. There's 3 instead of 2. Anyways, I'm geeking out now with guitar building tips here, but I think you guys get the rough idea of where I'm at. So Alan wants to know how it's going with the eruption challenge. So Alan, I've been so busy right now trying to get new videos up, that I haven't had time to actually do the eruption challenge. I'm also getting ready to play a show that's coming up, and I spent the better part of yesterday and today getting all of the set list for the show underway. We're practicing regularly for that. There's so much to do, so I really haven't had time. And to top it all off, I don't want this to be a bitching session, but to top it all off, last week I thought I'd do an update on my OS, and I updated the last version of the Mac OS, which is Monterey, and unfortunately it stopped my Final Cut from working. So I was in the middle of editing my videos so I can put them online for you guys, and all of a sudden my Final Cut stopped working. So I had to basically upgrade my Final Cut, which is a pain, and I had to scramble to get that done. And so I'm thinking the reason why they called the operating system Monterey is probably because it's full of holes, because it shouldn't have happened, but it did, and it basically made me waste time. And right now I have so little time available that it just basically threw my schedule out of whack, and that's part of the reason why I haven't updated anything recently. but I have a couple of videos that I'm working on, and I'm gonna try and get those finished for you guys. I keep saying that, but I gotta push myself to find some time. Tonefish says, I want the Evh Usa Ivory Relic like the last guitar he was playing. Yeah, that one looks really nice. I had the Stealth model, the black EVH Stealth for a while, which is similar, but it obviously is a different color. And that one was really nice too, I gotta say. I ended up selling it, however, because the Stealth finish, if you guys don't already know, is a flat black. Anything you paint flat black will only stay completely flat black for a little while. As you rub your arm on the guitar and play it, it'll get shiny spots in the place that you rub. So I wanted to get rid of it before that started to happen. So it's a cool idea, but it doesn't stay pristine, and I figured for that particular guitar, I didn't really like the fact that it was gonna age that way. But I think I have a review of that guitar as well. That one was kind of purchased on a spur of the moment thing when I actually tried that in Vegas at one point, and I came back and I had to buy one. By the way, I didn't mention, last week I mentioned I bought a Univibe, an MXR Univibe. And I've been playing around with the Univibe for about a week or so now. It's pretty cool, but what I realized about the Univibes is they are very sensitive to where you put them in your signal chain. And for those of you who don't know that, might get some surprises, as I did, because the first time I ever owned a Univibe, I never purchased one before, so I figured I would put it, because it's kind of like a modulation effect, I would put it in the effects loop with my the delay and my reverb pedal. It didn't play well. It sounded okay, but it really sucked the tone for some reason. So I ended up putting it in line with my other pedals, and it works much better in front of the amplifier. But it's sensitive to where you put it in the signal chain. So these are things that I learned recently, and if you guys are playing around with pedals, this is something that you might want to pay attention to. Heck, let me show you my pedal board. How's that? Would you guys want to see my pedal board? I haven't talked about pedals in a while, and I have a whole, I change it from time to time. I change it up. So let me show you what I have in there now. Vox says, my last band broke up because the drum machine showed up to my rehearsal drunk. Drunk and late, right? Cheers. We grab a sip. Cohen, I agree. Univibes are awesome, and honestly, I didn't realize that till now. I didn't realize I needed one, but they're a lot more in your face than a chorus pedal. For those of you that don't know, and they do add a little bit more air to everything that you're doing. So if you kick that on when you're doing a certain phrase, it definitely makes things gives a little bit more movement to everything, you know? All right, so you guys want to see the pedal board? Sure, I'll be happy to pull that out for you guys. Let me just grab that. Let me put this down. Pedal board. Okay, here we are. Let's try and get this so that I don't knock anything over or break anything. Hey, the padded pedal room is here. Nice to see you, buddy. If anybody's interested in following them, they have a little channel going on themselves. Support them as well. All right, here we go. There we go. This is the latest incarnation of what's on my board right now. So this constantly changes. All right. So let me talk about this for a minute. So a lot of you have asked me what board this is. This board is called, and it's an Acclam board. I don't know the exact model. It's the Acclam Guitars board. You can see it here. Very well made board. It's not cheap, but I like it a lot. It does have the ability to make it flat or give it a two-tier look like this. So you can have an upper tier and a lower tier. Great quality hardware. You can tell by the adjustable feet on there. Super great. And underneath here, this thing weighs a lot. It's not light because of all the pedals that I have in here. But here, let me show you. So this here is my power, which is a decibel 11 power. What do you call this? Power. It's not a power bar, but just the power thing. You know, you basically can plug in a whole bunch of pedals in there. You can see all the wires. Okay, so that's basically it. And if we go back to the front, one of the things that I like about these pedal boards is the fact that you don't need Velcro. So you see here on the side of each pedal, there's these little clips here. These are little clips with little screws. You slide them in, you tighten the screw, and it grips your pedal with some rubber and nothing falls off. So no Velcro, easy to mount and move your pedals around, and you're good to go. So highly recommend this pedal board, guys. I think I did a video on this pedal board where I was showing how to put it together. I've tried a lot of different boards. This is the one that I'm using now. Okay. As far as the pedals go, so the signal chain here, I'm just trying to show you. This thing is digging into my lap. Sorry, guys. Let me just see if I can adjust this a little higher so you can see. All right, here, it's not easy, man. Let me just grab a box and put this underneath. There we go. Okay. Now it's not digging into my leg as much. Okay, so this is it. So this is the pedal board. So the top chain here go in front of my my amp. The bottom are the modulation effects that go into the effects loop. So it basically goes this way to this way. So I have my Polytune, great little tuner with the buffer so that you don't lose signal. Then the Univibe, so this is the one that I just bought. This is a pedal that I made myself. This is the Brown Sound in a Box 2, which gives you that EVH sound that I'm using as my dirt pedal. You can get this at General Guitar Gadgets. You have to build it yourself. A lot of fun, but it sounds great. This is a cheapy Joyo MXR EQ knockoff. I bought this because it was cheap, and I figured when it breaks, I'll get the MXR. Never broke, so I'm still using it. It does the job. It's okay. This is the EP booster that I generally leave on all of the time because it makes everything sound better. It just fattens up the sound. But you can also use this as a boost. You can actually just click on it when you're playing your solos, and you can get an instant boost in your dBs and stand out a little bit more. But I like to run it a little bit low and basically keep it on all the time. The EP booster is based on the Echoplex circuit, and it just basically makes things sound very good, in my opinion. It just fattens the whole sound up. The bottom row here are my modulation effects. So basically I have the delay. This is the flashback from TC Electronic. I have the Corona chorus, and I have the Hall of Fame reverb. I like the TC stuff. They're pretty good. The thing I like about them most is that you can actually download the tone prints and you can change how you want them to sound. So, you know, if the chorus is not specifically the tone you want, you download the tone prints and you can make it sound like whatever you like. They have really nice tone prints available. So basically that's all I'm using right now. All of the slots are kind of filled. I can't go beyond this many pedals with the power supply that I have on this right now. I would have to get another one. But this has been working for me. The ones that I change out the most are this. So depending on what I'm playing, sometimes I'll use more of a boost type dirt pedal. Sometimes I'll use two. I'll take out the Univibe and I'll put two different boosts. I'll put a higher gain distortion and a lower gain distortion side by side so I can choose what I want. Or sometimes I do have the King of Tone clone, which is basically 2 pedals in one, and I can put that in and take 1 slot instead of 2, and then still have the Univibe, you know, just moving things over a bit. So there's a lot of things that I can do, but that's basically it. These are the pedals that I usually use. The only other thing that I can suggest that I don't have on the board right now and that I'm looking for is a good compressor. So I'm looking for a nice compressor pedal, and that's probably going to be one of the things that I need to add. But it's the fact that every slot is taken up, it's kind of giving me, I have to really be careful what I'm using. So sometimes I'll take out the chorus because I don't really use chorus all that often, and I'll use that additional slot for something else up here. If you guys have any questions regarding the board, let me know. Be happy to answer them. Tonefish says I have a Biang Tone Fancier EQ. Haven't tried that one, Tonefish. But this is actually the secret weapon right here in any pedal board. I'm not saying the specific pedal. I'm just saying an EQ pedal. You need an EQ pedal on your board. It's critical. And a lot of people, you know, I don't see a lot of people with EQ pedals on their board because maybe they feel they don't need them. But if you're playing in a live situation, the EQ is huge. So let me put this down because it's making my leg fall asleep. Put this over here. So one thing that I really would love to find, and maybe this is something that you guys could help me out with, because you guys are plugged in. Let me just grab the cable here. Okay, you gotta move. All right, so you see this big jumble of cable here? So this is what I use, because with my pedal boards, I use the 4 cable method, which basically means you need four cables, right? 2 that go into the effects loop, 1 that goes into your pedal board, and 1 that goes to your amp, in the front of your amp. I'd love to find someone, and maybe this exists. What I do is I basically tape together 2 jacks like this, and I use these for the send and return that go into the amplifier from my pedals. But this is not convenient because it all gets tangled up and the tape comes off and whatnot. There must be a company that makes a double jack like this where you're able to have 2 in 1. If you guys know, please tell me where I can get one of these, because it really is a pain. And I like to have my cables neat. And so that would be a great stocking stuffer that I would probably put on my list if I can find them, especially if the other ends are 90-degree ends like this. So if you guys know if there is something that exists like that already, please let me know. If there isn't, somebody should definitely invent that. You know, Planet Waves or whoever else would be able to use this. Pedal Snakes used to make one like that. I gotta check them out, Jeff. I gotta check them out. Yeah, I really need to get one of those. Because, you know, yeah, you can probably make one yourself. But I don't have the time to do that right now. So let me just take note of that. Pedal Snake. See, I got to take notes sometimes because I forget. And there's so many things that we're talking about here on a regular basis. Or a TSR with a splitter at each end. Something like that, yeah. Again, I don't really have the time. It would be simple to do, wouldn't it? I mean, it's not that complicated. But anyways, I'm sure that there's some company that probably has already made this and taken the headache out of it. So I'd love to know. As far as other gear that I have coming on the way, I'm pretty excited that I finally got my hands on the new X, the new model that came out, and that's the MG30. So it's the new version of this guy. This guy was relatively cheap, under 200 bucks. Had great sounds. I like this unit a lot, but they came out with a new version now. Metal chassis, big screen, color screen, still relatively affordable. It's 300 bucks US, but if the sounds are as good as the ones that are in there, I'm gonna love it. So I can't wait to get that one. I know I've been talking about it for a while. It's very, very difficult to get your hands on them at this point, but I think a lot of you guys are looking forward to that one. So when I get it, I'll definitely make a review for that. And I think you guys liked the new X review I did on that one. I did sort of a walkthrough on that, and I think a lot of you guys liked that one. So I'll probably do the same for the new one. How long are the cables you run from the board to your amp? These are probably 20 feet. About 20 feet or so. Anything between 15 or 20 feet is something that would be fine. 30 feet of heat shrink, that wouldn't be... not that I haven't thought of that, Seth. I actually did, but you would have to use pretty massive heat shrink to do that, because you have to fit the actual jacks over it, because they're already soldered on and everything, unless you're making it yourself. They do have... I know they do have these rubber snakes that are made to be able to route, office wiring and stuff like that. So I thought about getting that and maybe using that as well. I don't know. I'm gonna come up with something that will work. If worse comes to work, duct tape. That always seems to do the job, right? Just get some duct tape, wrap everything up like a mummy, and you're good to go. Not the most sexy thing, but it works. Yeah, I probably will end up doing that, Paul. I'll probably end up just making my own. A Y cord. Yeah, pretty much. But I need a good quality one, Bob. Something that wouldn't necessarily just die on me and give me a lot of interference as well. Yeah, guitar cable sleeve. Something similar to that. I agree, 30 feet of cable is too long. Ground loop box at that point, for sure, if you want to keep it clean. 18.5 feet is the magic number. Yeah, so I'll probably just keep it to 15 feet. 10 to 15 feet should be fine. Gorilla tape will work, yeah. Seth says my cable management is terrible. That's one of the things, is like when you're carrying a lot of stuff, you don't want to have a lot of cables, and you don't want to have a whole bunch of stuff that tangles up. You want the setup to be as quick as possible. So definitely anything that can help keep things neat will work. I tried zip ties, Bob. You know what the problem with zip ties is that when you're wrapping it up, it hurts your hand. You actually cuts your hand, because you're sliding the cable through your hand, and all the zip ties that you cut just like cut your hands, and that didn't work. So Bruce says there's an open box MG30 right now on AMS for 269 bucks. It will go fast. Probably will. Probably will. Maybe one of you guys want to grab it while you can. It's a great little unit, I'm telling you. So guys, I think we're going to wrap it up. I've been on for almost an hour and a half. There was still a couple of other things that I wanted to talk about, but I guess we'll leave that for next time. And we'll just get the weekend underway. And I know you guys have a lot of things that you guys want to be doing. Some of you guys might be practicing right now or getting ready to practice as well. Yeah, I'm still using the Ampero. I still am. Yep. It's right beside me here. I don't use it as much as this though. I use this one more because I like the sound on this one more than the Ampero for the time being. The Ampero has a lot of great options in terms of ins and outs, much better than this. That's why I'm looking forward to the new one, because this one was too limited. So I think the new version of this NUX is gonna probably blow the socks off of the Ampero, but that remains to be seen. I'll compare them side by side perhaps. So Rico likes the later show start. Hey, you know, if I can oblige, maybe we'll start half an hour later, or like, you know, 10:30ish or something like that. We'll see. Denai says, Tony, are you constantly watching the used guitar market? Montreal must have a lot to offer. I am constantly watching the used guitar market. I'm a little bit obsessive with that. I seem to always be pulled into taking a look, maybe a little bit too often, but I'm always looking for some good deals. As a matter of fact, I find that lately it's been slowing down quite a bit. There's perhaps because I do have a nice collection going on right now that I don't need as much. I'm very specific about what I'm looking for these days, so I don't necessarily, you know, just grab anything that pops up. However, there are a few things that I've been trying to talk myself out of lately, and I'm glad to say that I haven't pulled the trigger on any major purchase, and that's perhaps due to the fact that I'm busy building my own guitars. The Frankenstrat, as you saw, but I also have another Strat that I'm building, and that's a 3-tone Sunburst that I need to also get cracking on. So I spend more time looking for pots and switches and little things like that than actual big gear purchases. But don't worry, there's definitely going to be more stuff, because there always is. Yeah, I guess I would have to do that, Bob. Trim the ties and file the nibs. I don't have time for that, man. I'm just going to probably just use duct tape. The new Ampero 2 Stomp out this week. So that is the one that I guess is trying to eat the lunch of the, what is it, the Pod Go. They're basically vying for the same crowd, the same money. So those are going to be sort of two contenders, and I'm pretty sure that this one will be the third. Alan says, I bought 2 guitars this year. I think that's enough for me. Bite your tongue, Alan. Come on. We know the truth. The key word in that sentence is think. We'll see. But hey, I'm glad you're enjoying your guitars. So that's it, guys. Thank you all for tuning in for another episode of Addicted to Gear Live, Sunday edition. I hope you guys got some enjoyment out of this session, and we'll be back next Sunday, either at 10 or 10:30. We'll see how it pans out, but around that time. So please mark that on your calendar. It's always a pleasure to see so many familiar faces and some new faces as well. And if you guys have any questions after the show, please don't hesitate to give me a shout on my email, or leave your comment below, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Okay, guys? That's it for now. Please stay safe. Keep playing. Try to learn Eruption if you can. And stay tuned for some upcoming videos on my behalf. They should be out at some point this week. That's it for now, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Talk to you soon.